Alright, so there is an AI tool that kind of flew under my radar, and it's called Quiver AI. Basically, with this tool, you can generate illustration in the SVG format. It could be a logo, an element for your website. You can also use it to generate a poster or even infographics. And given that this is in the SVG format, that means that you can zoom in into the picture, but it will stay very sharp, so there won't be any pixelation or some blurry effect around the edges of the element. And this is why SVG is very important, because it is not a raster based content like a typical PNG or JPEG image. This is basically coming from a code, and that's why it can be very sharp regardless of the screen size. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use it, and also from experience, there are many situations where you might not want to use this tool, and also I will talk a bit on how you can essentially not use this tool. There are some examples where I think it's kind of overkill using a tool like Quiver AI. In fact, you can even create more or less the same thing using Gemini AI, which again, something that I'll talk later in my video. So anyway, if you want to use this tool, you can navigate to Quiver AI, and I will actually put the link in the description down below. You can sign up for free, and it should give you, I think, 20 credits for just starting up, and then you can start generating an SVG picture via the create menu. Now I have a few examples. I'm going to just copy and paste my prompts. So this is my prompt, and by the way, in case you're wondering, the prompt for creating an SVG image and a regular raster image is actually the same. In fact, I have done some testing, and I created several different images using Gemini and Banana, and I use the exact same prompts as the ones that I created in Quiver AI. So these are some examples, and as you can see, they kind of look the same as a typical image that was created by a normal or traditional AI image model like perhaps GPT Image 1 or Gemini and Banana. Okay, now let me just continue. I'm going to just send this message and make sure that you are in this imagine format, the imagine button, and then send the message. So one thing that I like about creating an SVG file using Quiver AI is you can actually watch the whole process that the elements, the visual comes to life. So you can later download that as a video. So this is one example where I created a tree animation. It's not animation. Remember, it is not animation. It is a static SVG file, but you can see how AI is creating perhaps the code line by line, and you can see the progress of the picture. Honestly, it is mesmerizing. It looks really cool, and it's just satisfying watching the whole thing comes to life. Okay, let me just go back, and there you go. So that's exactly what I meant. You can see the whole process from start to finish. Now, while it is still creating this picture, I will just send another prompt. So that 20 credits, I suppose, should be enough to just mess around with all the things that it can do. And by the way, it is also possible to add an image for reference to be turned into an SVG format. So just wait for it until it finishes. Now, you might be wondering, since this is basically just code, isn't that possible to just use Gemini or ChatGPT, because those large language models can do coding as well? Well, you would be right, but I think there is a difference between a model that is designed for vector generation like this and a model that is trying to be good at everything. Now, let me give you one very clear example. So right here, I have a picture of this sort of bookstore illustration. It looks really nice. And in case you're wondering, this is the same illustration that was created by the coding power of Gemini. Remember, Gemini is just getting better at coding, but still it is not even close to the quality of the picture that was created by the Quiver AI. And another example is perhaps this logo. Yeah, this logo is a simple logo, okay? But when I send the same query using the Gemini Pro, Gemini 3.1 Pro, I got this result. It is not looking good, or maybe I need to use a different prompting. But the idea here is that the typical large language model is not designed, it's not really fully optimized to create a vector style picture like this one. That's why I think this model is going to be most of the times coming on top of other bigger AI models. Okay, it took quite a while to generate this and it's not yet finished. So yeah, just be patient until it's finished. But we got this one example. This is a nice isometric illustration. And yeah, if you want to download this as an SVG format, you can click the SVG selection and then you can click export as SVG. But it is also possible to download this in a different format like a PNG, JPEG, WebP, and even MP4. So MP4 here is very interesting because you can download the whole process of the animation of the visual. Basically, this is one example that I just showcased earlier. It looks really cool, and perhaps you can use it on maybe some video content or even your website. Honestly, it is always mesmerizing seeing a video like this one. Okay, I'm going to continue. I'll just select maybe the resolution to be 1024 and export MP4 and just wait until it finishes. Now, you might have noticed that earlier, I have one example where the SVG wasn't created successfully by the Quiver AI. The one that I meant is this one. So there is one example that is not fully created. Okay, so this is supposed to be a logo, but during my creation here, the generation just stopped midway, and that's why the logo is not complete. And then I created the same thing again using Gemini and I got this result. So perhaps this is how it's supposed to look. So of course, this was created by the Gemini Nano Banana. Remember, it is created by Gemini Nano Banana, not the regular Gemini large language model, which is the Gemini 3.1 Pro. So Nano Banana versus this Quiver AI. It's not able to finish the job, I suppose, because the code is just getting very long, and perhaps they have a limit on how many lines of code that the AI is allowed to generate. Now, funnily enough, if the logo or illustration that you are trying to create in Quiver AI cannot be generated, or maybe it doesn't look good, you can just generate a regular image in the Gemini platform, and then you can download it. And then you can use a free tool like a feed tracer. Let me give you one example. Where is that? Okay, I guess I have to go to Google. Just navigate to Google like feed tracer. So this is the website that lets you convert a regular raster image into a vector image. Let me just upload that image. And then you can choose the settings. There are many things that you can do here, but if I select this, I usually can get a much smaller file. And when you're done, you can click download and you'll see an SVG file like this. So it is something that you can do. And I gotta say, in many cases, using Gemini and Nano Banana to create an image normally and then using this tool or this library to convert that into an SVG could be a lot faster and also a lot cheaper. I said that cheaper because if you look closely on the pricing of Quiver AI, it is not very pocket friendly. So it is going to cost you $0.3 per one image, and even that, as you can see in my example, it wasn't even able to generate the full one image illustration in the SVG format. So I think this is very expensive given that many regular AI image models like Gemini and Nano Banana can create an image as low as, I believe, $0.0045 per image. That is just ridiculously cheaper than the $0.3 of this image generation. So yeah, I think if you are planning to implement this sort of technology on your project, or how you want to use this tool on your daily workflow, then you might want to consider the pricing, and perhaps Gemini can be a better alternative when it comes to generating an SVG format, illustration, or logo. But regardless, I think I can still see that there is a merit of actually using this tool, Quiver AI, to generate a quick SVG illustration. But of course, this is just one among many things that AI can do. And if you want to see more interesting AI use cases, then you can check out this video up here, and I'll see you there.